Hello everyone, welcome to 6.4 Factors. The essential question is, how can you write a whole number as the product of its prime factors? The vocabulary which you need to write down is factor. These are numbers that you multiply to find a product. So in the example, 2 times 3 equals 6. The product is 6. The factors are 2 and 3. That's what you multiply to find 6. Okay? And then the other vocab is prime number. This is a whole number greater than 1 that has exactly 2 factors, 1 in itself. In other words, this number can only be multiplied by itself and 1. There are no other numbers that can go into it evenly. So like for number 7 for 17. Well, the only thing that you can make to multiply 17 is 1 times 17. You can't do 2 times anything, 3 times anything, 4 times anything. Try it. I mean, there's nothing else you can multiply. It's either 1 and 17. And that's the same for number 19. There's only 2 numbers that go into 19, 1 and 19. 1 times 19 equals 19. There's not 2 times anything, 3 times anything, 4 times anything. It's only 1 times 19. Same with 23, 29, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of numbers actually that are prime numbers. Nothing else can be multiplied into them. Now, you don't have to memorize the prime numbers, but you just need to know that they exist and that certain numbers will only have a factor of 1 in the number that it's being multiplied by. Not like if we said 4. 4 is not a prime number because 4, if we look at the factors of 4, let me see. Okay, you have 1 times 4 and you have 2 times 2. So it has more than just these factors. It also has 2 as a factor. That's why that's not a prime number. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the steps, which you also need to write down, and then we'll go over the 3 examples. So the first step is make a factor tree, which I'll show you how to do. What 2 numbers can you multiply to make the product? And then this next one is, can you multiply other factors to make the factors you found? So that's when you're making the factor tree, you want to look at the factors that you found and say, oh, can this be broken down anymore? All right, so we're going to go ahead and start, and I think these steps will make sense once you get into it. So go ahead and pause if you need to pause to write this down. Okay, hopefully you paused. Let's go ahead and do the first example. Find the prime factors. So we're going to find the factors of 18. So what you need to ask yourself is, here's 18. What 2 numbers can you multiply to make 18? Well, you can do 3 times 6 equals 18, or you could do 2 times 9 equals 18. Okay, so 2 times 9 equals 18. Now you need to ask yourself the second step. Can you multiply other factors to make the factors you found? Is there anything that I can multiply 2 in to make it a factor? I think 2 times 1 are the only 2 factors. Well, how about 3? Is there anything I can, or how about 9? Are there any 2 numbers that I can multiply to make 9? Well, I know. I can multiply 3 times 3. Okay. I can multiply 3 times 3. When I multiply 3 times 3, that equals 9. Okay, is there anything I can use to multiply into 3? I think it's just going to be 3 times 1. And when you get to this, you know that, okay, it's time to stop. When you get to the only thing I can multiply is the number in 1, well, okay, you've multiplied enough. So I know that my prime factors are 2 and 3. Those are my prime factors because those are the numbers I can use to multiply when I use that, they multiply into 18. It'd be 2 times 3 times 3. Those are the prime factors to multiply into 18. Okay, let's go ahead and do another example. And hopefully this will make sense the more examples we do. So this says, write the number as a product of its prime factors. So what I did at the end just there, when I said 18, to make 18, you have to do 2 times 3 times 3. That's a product. That would be my answer for number 2. Okay? For number 1, it just said find the prime factors. So I know the prime factors are 2 and 3. So this is my answer for number 1. But number 2 is asking you, hey, make a product with those factors. So number 2 is asking you to make the equation. So let's go ahead and do that for number 2. Number 2 says, write the number as a product of its prime factors. So let's look, we have make a factor tree. Let's take 24. Well, what two numbers go into 24? 6 times 4 go into 24. Can I break down 6 or 4 anymore? Yes, I can. I can do 2 times 3, that equals 6. And for 4, I can do 2 times 2. Now, I know that I'm done because I can't go, the only thing that goes into 2 is 1 and 2. And the only thing that goes into 3 is 3 times 1. So now I'm going to make an equation. 2 times 3 times 2 times 2 would equal 24. 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 times 2 equals 4. 6 times 4 equals 24. Okay? All you need to have is what I boxed. Okay? You don't need to circle anything. All right? All you need to have is 2 times 3 times 2 times 2. All right? Let's do example number 3. Write the number of its product of its two prime factors. So, of its prime factors, not two prime factors, I'm sorry. It said write the number as a product of its prime factors. So, let's take 45. Oh, let me use a different color there. And we're going to break down 45. What two numbers go into 45? 5 times 9 goes into 45. Okay, does anything else go into 5? Well, no. 5 is actually a prime number. The only thing that goes into 5 is 1 times 5. So that one's done. But does anything go into 9? Yes, actually. 3 times 3. And I know that 3 times 3, right, those 3's are prime. So the product would look like 5 times 3 times 3. And you might be asking yourself, Mr. Morales, 45 only had 3 products, but the number before, 24, had 4. What gives? Well, remember, you were multiplying 2 even numbers, which broke down into other prime factors. This one, you started out with a prime factor 5 being multiplied by the 9. So that doesn't matter how big the number gets. Certainly, there'll probably be more factors, but not always. You have really big numbers that aren't divisible by anything, and they're prime numbers themselves. So you really just need to look at it and break it down and say, okay, what's the lowest I can get these numbers? Okay, what's 45? What do I need to do to break down 45? Oh, 5 times 9. Okay, is there anything that 5 goes into? No. Okay, well, how about 9? Yes, 3 times 3. Anything that goes into 3? No. 3 is a prime number, so I can stop there. Okay? All right, guys. Well, that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, make sure you write them down, and we'll go over them shortly. Thank you. Have a good one.